Hello everybody and welcome to the D.G.S.R Sim Racing Assetto Corsa Competizione League. This is the second race in this race weekend here at Monza. This is a 20-minute race and the drivers have had a second qualifying to decide the grid for this race. So let's have a look at said grid. In P1 we have D.G.S.R followed by ATM in P2. In P3 we have D.G.S.R followed by Hale in P4. P5 we have Long followed by Gabe in P6. In P7 we have Lerone followed by D.G.S.R in P8. In P9 we have Wilder followed by Daly in P10. In P11 we have Neil followed by in P12. In P13 we have Barros followed by LKMP in P14. P15 we have McElligott followed by Wilkins in P16. P17 we have Raiola followed by Ridge in P18. P19 we have Hillier followed by Greenaway in P20. In P21 we have Kral followed by Norton in P22. And then heading up the GT4 cars in P23 we have Mybom. Following him we have Swan in P24 and then Engel in P25. In P26 we have Pichon. Sorry, I've screwed up there. In P26 we have Pichon. P27 we have Muir followed by Askham in P28. In P29 we have DL followed by Stevens in P30. And failing to qualify we have P31 Whalley and P32 Speaking Leash. You join me then as we head off in this second race here at Monza. 20-minute race. It's a morning race around I think 6 or 7 a.m. Very early and still quite cold. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and if we can have a slightly safer race than the first one. Here we go as D.G.S.R and ATM come round Parabolica and into the straight, start-finish straight. Down past the pit lane and there we go, across the line and away we are. ATM off to a flying start, looking to get around D.G.S.R into T1. He's going to get ahead of him just about, and he's going to take P1 immediately. Behind them then, D.G.S.R is being chased by Hale and Gabe. Hale's going to go around the outside, and everyone keeping their distance with each other. That's a very safe through turn one so far. Everyone queuing up. And looks like ATM off to a flying start in P1, followed by D.G.S.R, followed by D.G.S.R, followed by Hale. He's being followed very closely by Gabe. I think then behind him we've got D.G.S.R. He's managed to overtake, I think, Long and Lerone. Behind him, Long and then Lerone. And then we've got Daly in P9, having a much better start. Wilder in P10, P11. And I'll just jump back to the GT4 cars, make sure there's nothing. Doesn't look like we've had any problems as of yet. Mybom though, down in P31. I'm not sure what happened with him. Let's have a jump back, shall we? He started from the pits. He must have not pressed drive at the beginning. So it's unfortunate for Mybom, starting from the end, back of the pack. He was the winner in the first race, so he's going to have a little way to go to catch up with the rest. So ATM off to a good lead. He's made up about half a second. Probably not helped by the little battle that D.G.S.R and D.G.S.R are having for P2. They need to possibly work together a little bit. As Hale goes very wide. That's going to give Gabe the opportunity to come flying past as we head down into Parabolica for the first time in this race. Although Hale, having a little look around the outside, is going to struggle to catch up, I think, down the straight. And actually, D.G.S.R and Long are going to have a little go, probably up the straight towards Hale. So, a good battle then from P2 down to P7. Lots of front runners, but it looks like they're, letting ATM run away with the lead here. Almost 2 seconds ahead now. So, he had a very good start. Long looking around the inside of D.G.S.R. Not quite close enough to make the lunge. And they're going to go through together. So Lerone then behind in P8 is being chased by Daly, which is why they're peeling off from the front pack. Daly looks to be ever so slightly catching Lerone, although I don't think he's going to be able to catch up through Roggia. Variante della Roggia, the second chicane. I wonder if he can make a bit of time up going through Curve de Lesmo. Not really. Does, however, look like the two of them are going to be catching up a little bit of time to the pack ahead. And it looks like D.G.S.R has actually caught up ATM a little bit as well. So it's going to be interesting to see the next couple of laps. Let's jump down to the GT4 cars. So Engel's up in P1, I think, by the looks. Yeah, Engel up in P1. He's being followed pretty closely by Pichon. That's not a GT4 car, that's a GT3 car of Ridge just going past Pichon there. And Muir's down in P3, so already quite spread out, the GT4 cars. Possibly because there's a few GT3 cars between them. Of Whalley and Speaking Leash and obviously Ridge there, who must have had a bit of a problem at the start somewhere. But yeah, let's have a look who's close together. Oh, so let's have a look at and Wilder as we go down the straight. Looks like going to make a move down the straight. Is he going to try and get Wilder under braking as they head into Rettifilo? Variante del Rettifilo, the first chicane. They go side by side. And there we go. Just managing to keep ahead. Although, looks like Wilder is not going to give up without a fight. Although, yeah, coming back a little bit towards the second chicane. Well, he is catching him though. Let's have a look on board. Looked like he was taking the defensive line, but decides not to. Maybe because Wilder's not quite... goes very deep. Both of them go deep into the chicane. Not capitalizing on that. LKMP goes flying past Wilder, so that's unfortunate for Wilder there. I'm not quite sure how... I think might have just sort of cut the chicane a little bit there. Don't know whether he would have got a warning for track limits, but possibly not, because he would have lost a lot of time going over the bumps. So that's unfortunate for Wilder. He's down in P12 now. So he's lost a couple of places in the span of the lap. Daly is getting very close to Lerone now. He's going to have a quick look around the inside going into Ascari. Thinks better of it. Ascari not an easy place to overtake. Sometimes you can make it move just going on the entrance. It looked like Lerone having a better line through Ascari, which has put Daly on the back foot a little bit as they head now into Parabolica. Ooh, Lerone taking it a little bit too tight, hitting the grass a bit. That might give Daly the opportunity to catch up a little bit. Let's have a look from this angle. Yeah, Daly looks to be... Ooh, bit of netcode problems. It looks to be catching him a little bit, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, to catch him on this lap. Oh, maybe it will be. He's going to have a look up the inside, but no, not quite close enough. But I mean, maybe in the next couple of laps, perhaps. Let's have a look next then at... That's Neil trying to go around the outside of... Kral. Was that Kral going around the inside of Neil? Let's have a look. Okay, so this is a nice little battle here. So this is Kral. He's riding ahead behind McElligott. That's Neil off to the right-hand side. Not quite sure. He looks like to be going fairly slowly. Not quite sure as a result. Oh, and that's number 6. That's Wilder. He might have some problems there, Wilder, because he looks to be going very slowly, unless he just overbraked going into the Parabolica. So there we go, Neil and Kral going side by side down the straight. Let's have a look if we can see. Ooh, hitting the grass a little bit there, Kral. And that's going to give Neil the opportunity to catch up a little bit. Not quite side by side. Big break from Kral there. And that's going to put him ahead of Neil, P16. And behind Wilder. Wilder losing quite a few places here. Possibly due to damage or something of that effect, or maybe he just had a really good start and just doesn't quite have the pace to catch up with these guys, or possibly tyres or something like that not being quite as good. So then let's have a look. Let's jump up to Joswick and Long, who are riding pretty close together. This is Joswick going through Lesmo. And heading down Curva del Salagillo. Not quite as close. Joswick also having a close battle with another Aston Martin in race 1. And I think the Aston Martin does quite well through Lesmo, giving it a better run down Saragilo. But Joswick might be able to catch up in other parts of the track. We'll see. But for the time being, looking like he's not quite able to catch up. Let's jump back to the GT4 cars, who seem to have bunched up a little bit more here. We've got Pichon here, who's riding close behind Engel. And this is the battle for P1, effectively. Or the battle for P24. P24 in the race, in the overall race, and P1 for the GT4 race. I have to say that Alpine car sounds really nice. The engine sounds nice. And the third gear as they go through Ascari. Engel taking a little bit curve. Ooh! Now that curve really upset the Alpine there, and that is Pichon having a few going round and round, I think, and that's given Muir P2. I mean, he's being followed excruciatingly close by Swan there. You can see Swan just coming in, and they go into braking into Parabolica. He's going to get on the power a little bit earlier. I think Muir's taking a little bit too tight of a line, and Swan and Stevens going around the outer line there are going to be able to have a bit more speed and acceleration going down the straight. Having said that, Muir is just about keeping it alongside Stevens as they head into Rettifilio. Oh, side by side, little bit of a touch there, and that hits Stevens wide. Muir stops, which puts Askin behind there. I think Muir was trying to stop for Stevens. He maybe shouldn't have stopped in the middle of the road. That is unfortunate for Pichon and Stevens there. So quite a lot of dramatic racing going on in the GT4s there. So Engel retaining, I think, his lead, but he's being followed by Swan. He's a few seconds behind. Stevens now behind Pichon. There we go. And then it's Muir behind Swan. And then he's being followed quite closely by Mybom, who is making huge inroads against the other GT4 cars after starting from the pits. Right, let's jump up to the front runners then in the GT3 cars. We've got... coming at a very interesting place there. Sorry, let's roll that back. It's quite a lot to unpack. So we've got Gabe going round the outside of de Tollenaire, who's also coming up on D.G.S.R. D.G.S.R being there has meant de Tollenaire hasn't been able to risk taking too much of a... Oh, he spins! So I don't quite understand why D.G.S.R took the corner there. That's kind of spooked de Tollenaire, and then de Tollenaire's just spun, and that's given Gabe P3 and Long, Joswick, Daly, and possibly even Larone going through there. Not quite Larone, but Daly all going through there, and that means de Tollenaire is down in P8 now. It's a bit of a weird. There's a bit of a weird cut from D.G.S.R. I guess he felt like he was going to hit the sausage curb, so decided to cut instead. That kind of looked like it spooked de Tollenaire, and he just hit the curb, and that gave Gabe the opportunity to come flying past. Wow, interesting. Interesting racing so far. We are already... What are we? We're already 12 minutes in, so we're almost... we're well over halfway. Not well over, but we're over halfway already in this race. And some interesting racing already happening in both GT3 races and GT4 races. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the rundown of the grid then. So we've got ATM up in P1 still. As he has a bit of a skid through Ascari, which is going to give D.G.S.R the opportunity to catch right up. Let's jump on board with this. This could be a change in the who's running in first place here. So there we go. D.G.S.R is going to be quite close. He's going to take a little tighter line in the way, in the entrance of the corner, and then but also a tighter line on the outside of the corner. He's going to be looking to try and get past ATM. They go side by side down the straight, but he's got the inside line, and that's important to remember because he's going to be able to block ATM off, basically, on the first chicane. And so I think he might have got this move made before he's even done it. In fact, he's squeezing ATM a little bit, and there we go. He's up into the lead. Very good move there from D.G.S.R. Unfortunate mistake from ATM. Although D.G.S.R goes a little bit wide outside of the chicane, takes a very defensive line to make sure ATM stays behind. Oh, and that was a touch! It was a subtle one, but that was a touch there. ATM touching D.G.S.R there. Let's have another look. He sort of comes out wide, but he's closer than he thinks, and that sends D.G.S.R absolutely flying. And that's unfortunately... Oh, Gabe comes up into P1. Let's have a look from Gabe's point of view. So Gabe sees that that's the touch there. He goes wide. I think ATM waits, being sport, or tries to wait, although he doesn't actually wait fully, which is interesting. I think maybe when Gabe comes flying past, he realizes that he's lost both the positions there. So Gabe well up into P1, capitalizing from that crash there. Which, to be fair, he didn't have he's not gonna. He avoided going into anyone, so you know it's a fair enough move. Hale now up into P3, also capitalizing on that slight crash, and D.G.S.R now down in P4 after making that cool move up into P1. That's unfortunate for D.G.S.R. He was doing some good racing there, and it's just ATM that's tipped him more into a spin. Right, let's jump back then to Daly in P7, who seems to be catching D.G.S.R. D.G.S.R now a good couple of seconds behind Long, so Long is managing to peel away from D.G.S.R. We go through a scurry. This is the Mercedes-Benz of Daly here. And he's within a second of D.G.S.R, so he might be able to catch up a fair amount down the straight, depending on how well he takes Parabolica. Doesn't take a lot of speed through there. Takes it quite slow, but that might give him a faster exit, potentially. Yeah, he's not going to be able to make up a huge amount of time on D.G.S.R there. It might depend on how well he takes the corner compared to D.G.S.R. Takes it pretty well. He takes a wide line in and a wide line out. Wide line in and then takes it wide to go back to have a sort of tight exit. You take it wide and then have a tight exit. Not enough to catch D.G.S.R though. And so he's going to be looking to try and pull some time back. Let's jump back to Barros. He's running in P11 behind LKMP. He's catching LKMP as they head through the Rogia chicane, second chicane, and then into Curve de Lesmo. Quite late on the power there. He's obviously trying to keep it nice and safe. Lots of curb going into second Lesmo. And then down the straight. Maybe it's how this Audi feels, but I feel like he could have taken a little bit more speed through that second Lesmo corner, but it might just be how the Audi feels. Feels quite sort of steady and balanced. And as we go through a scurry, not any time made up, unfortunately. And I think it looks like... Oh, is that Lerone overtaking D.G.S.R ahead? As there is a GT4 car facing the other way. Looks like Lerone overtaking... Is that D.G.S.R? That looks like D.G.S.R's gone back a couple of spaces. Tolanair, Daly and Lerone all overtaking. So he might have had a bit of a problem there, which has given... it means he's now down in P9. And it looks like he's got a bit of damage on the front of his car. So possibly a little bit of a spin there. Not quite sure. Let's have a look at Hale, who is catching ATM. Let's have a look at the wheel, actually, shall we? Go helmet cam. Not a particularly nice camera to drive in, but not a bad camera if you want to see what they're doing with the steering wheel. Very nicely there. Tight in, wide out. Down the second gear for the second Lesmo. Interesting. Still nice and steady, the car, so, you know, no... It felt like he took Lesmo really well there, but ATM is getting away from him. And now he's got the GT4 car of Pichon to deal with going through Ascari. Fortunately, he's going to be able to overtake him relatively soon after Ascari. As he takes it a little bit slower through the exit of Ascari so that he could pass Pichon nicely and safely and doesn't get on his line too much. He's got to do some catching up now of ATM, a good second behind. Maybe if he takes Parabolica a little bit better. Looks like ATM's actually caught up with Gabe there, as Gabe's trying to negotiate the GT4 cars. Ooh, very risky move from the two of them there, going straight through the middle of Muir and Mybomb down the straight. And they head almost side by side into the first chicane. I think that was a bit of a risky move from the both of them there. That was unnecessary risk. They're both well in the lead, and they should have personally let the GT4 cars race. But there we go. So Mybomb and Muir racing close next to each other. There goes Hale around them. Let's ride on board with Muir for a little bit. They're kind of stuck now at the moment, because Muir can't... Ooh, yeah, Muir tries to go out. Let's have a look. If I take... So Muir doesn't expect D.G.S.R to be there. He does go flying past both the GT4 cars. A little bit of a touch, but they managed to keep it safe. And actually, Muir is going to go ahead of Mybomb there. Put some crazy races there. I think, again, D.G.S.R didn't need to take that risk. He had 3 GT4 cars in front of him. Admittedly, he wanted to get past them, but they're having a race as well. And there we go. So, GT4 cars, Engel still in P1, Swan still in P2. Mybomb and Muir battling for P3 at the moment. And there goes Long down the straight. Much safer pass, in my opinion. Askham, yeah, Mybomb and Muir fighting for P3 and P4. Askham down in P5, and he's close behind Mybomb and Muir, actually. And so is Pichon in what is effectively P6. And then DL and Stevens quite far behind in P7 and P8 after having a few problems themselves. Let's ride on board with Mybomb as these guys head into Parabolica. Probably getting quite close to the end of the race now. Yeah, 20 minutes in. Well, 20 minutes of this replay. Probably a good 5-10 minutes left. I say 5 minutes. Yeah, probably about 5 minutes left. Might be the last lap for the GT4 cars. Let's see if Mybomb can take P3 away from Muir. He's looking at the inside. He is not quite close enough to go through it in the first chicane. Are these guys being... They're also being caught up with some more GT3 cars. Mybomb gets very much better line through the first chicane. He's going to think about trying to get around Muir, but they're soon going to have some more GT3 cars for company, so they've got to be careful. Muir being very, very defensive here. Mybomb just trying to spook him, I think. Bit of a late move from Muir there to defensively move towards the inside. And that means Mybomb is still having to stay behind this lot. As LKMP comes in, goes side by side with them through Lesmo. And that gives Mybomb the opportunity to go side by side with Muir as they go through second Lesmo. And I think that's going to give Mybomb the lead as the GT3 cars come this way and that way around them. And it's just sort of pushed Muir wide a little bit. So Mybomb capitalizing on the GT3 traffic here. And that's unfortunately going to put Muir down in P4. Wow, this is a complete mess. It's a complete mess. All these people. Alright. Let's have a rundown of the grid. Actually, let's not bother, because we've only got a couple more. Oh, hang on a minute. I've lost my place now. Let's jump back to... I think we were... Yeah, we were much further down the line. There we go. Let's not have another look at the grid because we're quite close to the end of the race. Let's have a look at McElligott and Wilkins. These guys are actually trying to negotiate the GT4 cars we were just looking at. Wilkins going through a Scari. Oh, Pichon going very wide there, which just gives Wilkins and McElligott the opportunity to come past. Not a particularly good rejoin from Pichon there. He sort of looked like he was going to go headlong into McElligott there, which is a bit odd, but he manages to keep it safe, realising McElligott's there. And McElligott going very wide out of Parabolica, trying not to... Possibly the GT4s and GT3s panicking him a little bit as they head. That's the checkered flag. So there we go. Interesting race. Very interesting race. A lot of action, especially at the big GT4 cars. Lots of people stopping off track after the race finishing. Gabe having a bit of damage by the looks of it, so he's managed to win with damage, unless of course that damage has happened in the last... Yeah, that damage happening after he goes across the line. Loses his car, trying to celebrate and loses control of his car. There we go. Right, so provisional results then. Provisional results. So Gabe managing to get into P1 after some interesting problems between ATM and D.G.S.R. P2 is ATM, although I suspect he might get a penalty for that little crash with D.G.S.R there. P3 in Hale, having a very good race there. Very good start for him. P4 D.G.S.R, unfortunately, after having that little bit of trouble with ATM. Daly in P5, also a very good race compared to his first one here at Monza. D.G.S.R, not such a good race for him this time in P6. Still a good result though. Long in P7, much better result than last race. P8 Lerone, again a better result for him. P9 LKMP, P10 Joswick, P11 P12 Wilkins, P13 McElligott, P14 Riola, P15 Wilder, P16 Norton, P17 Kral, P18 Ridge, P19 Whalley after starting last because of not qualifying, P20 Neil, P21 Speaking Leash, also starting near the back of the grid because of not qualifying. So both of them managed to get into the GT3 cars. P22 Hillier, and then that concludes the GT3 cars. So in P23, or what is effectively P1 for the GT4 cars, is Engel. I think that's his first GT4 win, so well done to Engel there. P2 Swan, P3 Mybomb, managing to get on the podium despite starting from the pits, so well done. P4 Muir, P5 Pichon, P6 Askham, P7 DL, and P8 Stevens. They are your provisional results for this second race. If you haven't seen the first race, go check it out. It was certainly an interesting race as well. Half an hour at night and a turn one madness. Thank you all for watching and listening, and I will hopefully see you next time. We'll be at Bathurst or Mount Panorama, so looking forward to that. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.